In the 15th century, European ships began to sail farther than ever before. What started as exploration soon became one of the darkest chapters in human history, the Atlantic slave trade. For over 400 years, European powers built an international system that treated human beings as cargo. More than 12 million African men, women, and children were forcibly removed from their homes and shipped across the Atlantic. Portugal was the first European nation to enter the slave trade. By the mid-1400s, Portuguese traders were capturing and purchasing Africans along the West African coast. As sugar plantations expanded in Brazil, enslaved labor became essential. Spain soon followed. After colonizing the Americas, Spanish settlers demanded labor for mines and plantations. When indigenous populations collapsed due to disease and violence, enslaved Africans were brought in their place. By the 17th and 18th centuries, Britain, France, and the Netherlands had joined the trade, transforming it into a massive, organized business. This system became known as the triangular trade. European ships left ports like Liverpool, Nantes, and Amsterdam carrying guns, textiles, and alcohol. These goods were traded in Africa for enslaved people, often supplied by local rulers or merchants under pressure from European demand. The second leg of the journey, the Middle Passage, was the most brutal. Enslaved Africans were packed tightly into ships, chained together, lying in darkness for weeks or months. Disease spread rapidly. Violence was constant. It is estimated that nearly 2 million people died during the crossing alone. Those who survived were sold in markets across the Caribbean, North America, and South America. In the Americas, enslaved Africans were forced to work on plantations producing sugar, cotton, coffee, and tobacco, commodities that fueled Europe's wealth. Entire European economies grew rich on this labor. Banks, factories, and port cities flourished. But for Africa, the cost was devastating. The slave trade drained the continent of millions of its strongest people. Communities were torn apart. Warfare increased as groups fought to capture others for trade. Political instability and economic decline followed, effects still felt today. Resistance never stopped. Enslaved people rebelled on ships, escaped plantations, and preserved their cultures under unimaginable conditions. The most successful revolt occurred in Saint-Domingue, where enslaved Africans defeated French forces and created the independent nation of Haiti in 1804. By the late 18th century, opposition to slavery began to grow in Europe. Abolitionist movements led by former slaves, activists, and religious groups challenged the morality of human bondage. Britain abolished the slave trade in 1807, and slavery itself in 1833. France followed in 1848. Other European powers ended slavery later in the 19th century, often under pressure. But abolition did not erase the damage. The Atlantic slave trade shaped the modern world, its wealth, its inequalities, and its racial divisions. Understanding Europe's role is not about assigning guilt. It is about facing history honestly. The legacy of slavery is not just the past, it is still with us. Thanks for watching.